Okay, perfect. Thank you guys for attending today. Welcome. We're going to be talking about how to recruit and retain with marketing. My apologies, we just had someone stop in the back area. So let me continue with that. So today, to reiterate, we're going to go through and talk about, I'm going to start with marketing resources for you guys, things that I've found helpful and that others have found helpful, the different types of marketing that we do and how to kind of do them. And then we're going to go into a little bit about recruiting and retaining. So let's get started. So personally, with the marketing resources, these are the ones I find most helpful for really anything you guys need. Um, if you're looking for specific logos and stuff for Lone Star in particular, you'll want to go to the internet under marketing and communications. They have all of the logos that you use on, excuse me, on your screen. For different flyers and marketing purposes. So you're able to download those, and they have them in different colors and sizes as well. So that's a perfect resource because I use that all the time to find the right ones. Canva, I'm sure most of you are familiar with it, but it is my favorite way to create different marketing materials. You can create a vast variety of things, like things that I don't even get into personally. But I use it mainly to create like Facebook posts, regular flyers like print flyers, Instagram posts, stories, stuff like that. You have all the templates already set up for you, which is really cool. It's very easy to plug and play and make flyers. So if you need something quickly that you can't go through like Pam Clark or creative services for, that would be your best bet. Or if you guys student, I really am passionate about that, that would be their best way to do it. Along with that, Adobe Spark is very comparable, I would say. Both are free resources. You can purchase Canva Pro, but I've never needed it. And I've used Canva for, gosh, 5 years or more, like longer than I've been at the college. So, but Adobe Spark is very similar to that. It's very plug and play friendly. And it's free to use as faculty, staff, or students. So with that account, I've been doing some of our flyers in that as well. And I think I have some in the slides so we can see those. Bitly is a great way to shorten URLs and customize them for free. We use that all the time. Like, for instance, the little Instagram flyer I sent out with this training, this workshop, actually, the link said slash RSO Marketing as the link, and it's a bit.ly link. So that's the easiest way to shorten those because, if you have like a super long WebEx code or link that you want to use, bit.ly is the easiest way to shorten that down. Google Forms, obviously, if you need to create any forms, that's the easiest way to create them. SurveyMonkey is another great one. They have a lot of availability for their free accounts, so you can do that too. And then Linktree I did want to talk about because we utilize that right now on our social media. Basically, it's essentially what it says. It's like a navigation bar that you can add to your website. Well, not website, your social media. So right now, if you go into Instagram, you can only have one link in the bio. And so this is the way to get around that one link having multiple links. So when you click on our Linktree link in our bio in our Instagram, it pops up with all the different types of links, and we can link quite a few for free. We can customize the colors quite a bit, and then you can also see how many people have clicked on it if you are looking at that data too. But that's a really good resource that I don't think a lot of people know. And then if you have any other social media like Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, you could add that to the bio as well. So people can click on those links. So I just wanted to highlight those. Those are super, super helpful. Now let's get a little bit into print flyers. So those are your essential flyers and pamphlets that you'd see around campus, the bulletin boards, on tables. The best thing is to model it after what I have here, which is our official student life hiring flyer. So a solid border, or excuse me, footer at the bottom, ample spacing around the logo. As you can see here, we're using the new Texas one, but we prefer to usually use the LSC-Kingwood with this star, and you'll see that on the left or the right, depending. It doesn't really matter which side. And then contact information is included. So as you can see, for more information, this is where you go. And I find that it's very important to have accurate contact information because a lot of people will ask you about your event. Or if it's just a meeting flyer, they'll want to contact you for that. You can post it around campus, but you do have to get Student Life stamp of approval. We have a stamp at our front desk. So you'll just bring the print of those flyers in and we'll stamp all of them for approval. Make sure that the spacing's good, that they look okay and appropriate to post. We do that with outside vendors as well. And then also if you have any other issues or things that you want to view that are LSC standards, we have this LSC editorial usage and media relations PDF. I'm not going to pull it up right now, but I'm going to be sending out this as a attached presentation to an email for all those that are in attendance today. And I use these guides a lot because it sets the standard for what marketing looks like on campus, but it talks a lot about, you know, the namings, numerals, how you use punctuation, capitalization in flyers. It's a great tool to use, so that's why I included it as well. So that's what you would do for print marketing. Media is very similar. The different types of media, what I consider media instead of social media, would be the happenings, newsletters, and on-campus TVs. Those are still media size, not like flyer size, and not printed out, but they're not on a social platform per se. With that, you do have to submit a snow ticket for all postings. You guys, as advisors, would have access. Officers, I don't believe, have access, so it would have to be the advisors that do that. But essentially, you upload whatever file you want. So say, for example, my Welcome Week poster here, I upload that into the system and tell them, you know, the event date, when I want it posted. I can request really anything on that snow ticket. So I can request for it to go on Kingwood's social media. I can request it to go in the happenings, on campus TVs, all of that in one, which is great. This is the standard size for the campus TV. So if you're making a template in Canva or in Adobe Spark, if you're using either of those, or really any platform, the 1280 by 800 pixels is perfect to use as the standard for the campus TVs. Again, solid footer, ample spacing around the logo and contact information. It's going to be looking the same as that print flyer, just a different size, essentially. So that's something to look out for. Social media, a little bit different. I'm going to go into the examples on the next page, but Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, really any platforms. TikTok is very popular now, Snapchat, all those kind of things. LinkedIn, really any of that is social media. But the one thing I do want to mention that is here is that you do need to provide login details if you're creating an account or if you currently have a social media account to myself. This is just a standard that we have in our RSO handbook as well. We're supposed to have all of that information. If for some reason, like a student has that information or the advisor and they somehow lose it, we have a backup. But also, if there's anything that is posted that shouldn't be posted, like anything, for example, if a student officer or a member, I'm not saying they would ever do that, but if they posted something that wasn't approved or is maybe inappropriate or is not the right platform they want to post those things, then we can get in and delete those for you essentially. But the main thing is it's a backup. So that way we can get in for any reason if anybody loses them. So Facebook size, the standard that we really go with is that 2,500 by 1313. And again, you'll have those templates available in the different platforms I mentioned, but make sure that you're checking to see what the pixels are at. This is all PX is pixels, I should say that. Instagram, you can do it in 2250 by 2250 or 1080 by 1080. It really depends on where you make it. I think Spark and Canva do it a different way, but really both will go onto the platform perfectly. You can submit a snow ticket to get those media flyers posted to Facebook and Instagram. I do that all the time. Like I said, I'll submit a snow ticket for the happenings, for the campus monitors, and their LSC-Kingwood social media all in one. So it makes it really simple. Make your regular meetings events on Facebook and then share the events to your other platforms. So it's a great way to highlight your meetings because you can invite people on Facebook to those meetings if you create an actual event for those. So I do want to talk about that. You can use whatever social media your audience uses. So WhatsApp, Reddit, Snapchat, like I mentioned. Post on social media your successes. That's a big thing that we wanted to highlight. Events, awards, recognitions, etc. It could be recognition for your advisors or recognition for your officers and members, outstanding members. A kudos day would be cool. That's just a suggestion where it's set up once a week or every month to keep your social media active. So that's the big thing is you do want to remain active. You don't want to post once a month. That's just, students will not want to follow for anything because they're not going to assume that they need to keep checking for anything. So they're going to be like, well, they barely post, I'll unfollow them. Like, I'll get that information somewhere else. Student life, essentially right now I'm running the student life Instagram because our media specialist has left us. So while we hire, I'm doing it. And she would post every day on there, some type of post, but really every other day, once a week would be better than once a month, in my opinion. So yeah, those successes, post anything you guys have going on. So if you're in a meeting, take a picture of your officer team or take a picture of your new members. Or if you guys are doing a service opportunity, take a picture of that and post on social media. We love seeing that, and I know the students love seeing that too. This I did want to mention, respond to comments and messages promptly. If students are messaging your Instagram, like where do I sign up for this event or anything like that, make sure you're checking it promptly, but do not engage in internet trolls or spam accounts. You can delete comments. So for example, if there's some type of spam account that's like, follow my account for funny daily inspiration or something like that, they'll post on random things to try and get more followers. You can just delete those comments, but don't engage with them. Don't go back and forth on social media. At the end of applicable posts, you can ask people to like, comment, and share. That does go a long way, and people will actually do that because it doesn't take anything from their day to like, comment, and share. So did want to highlight that. To continue on, these are our examples that I'm going to use for social media. So both of these are Instagram kind of square boxes, different color schemes, obviously. The one on the left doesn't have the contact information or anything like that. That's just like a generic flyer. So on Instagram, really, you don't have to have contact information in the image itself if it's your information, but most flyers really do just use that contact information, which is great. If you're just copying and pasting the information from one size to the next, like on the right, totally fine to do it that way too. So obviously the who, what, where, when, and why is the biggest part of any flyer. But as you can see on the left, we use the eye-catching Disney image. This was for our drive-in movie. Playing around with the sizes and the text. It says exactly where we're having the movie night, what date, what time, any information about it. And then on the right, there's that link to sign up for the escape room. The cute little checkbox. You can play around with images, text, all of that. But these are just two examples of what you would see on social media. Super eye-catching as well, with the color schemes. Now let's go in a little bit about recruitment. So talk about your RSO whenever possible in your classes or outside of class. So if you are a faculty member and you have classes, mention, oh, by the way, today after class, I'm actually having a meeting with my RSO. So for this purposes, I'm going to use the anime club as a club for my examples, just to keep it simple. So if I was the advisor of the anime club, I would say, hey, just want to let you guys know I'm the advisor of the anime club on campus. We have a super cool event coming up on Friday. It's a movie night. It's at 6 p.m. in the SCC. Feel free to come and contact me for more information. You can even give extra credit if you want to students that attend certain events. Totally up to you. And then students should be talking about it. Your officers, your members. It's so easy for a student to, show interest in other students and be like, hey, I know you don't come to our events right now, but we have this anime club, and I think you'd really like it, especially if students are seeing that other students that they don't know personally have the same interests. So maybe that someone's wearing an anime shirt in your officer's class. That's a great way to be like, hey, there is an anime club on campus. Love for you to come here. Have a bring a guest meeting where your members bring a friend or classmate who is a non-member. This could be virtual or in person. So encouraging, your current members and your officers to bring a friend that has never been. Like I said, for the example of, in your classes, if you do a bring a guest meeting, a student could essentially, a member would be like, hey, I saw that you were wearing an anime pin the other day. We have our anime club this week. It's actually our bring a guest day. I would love for you to come check it out. It's at this time, virtually or in person. It's a great way to get students involved pretty easily. Now, another thing for recruitment is to set up a table at major on-campus events with a way to engage those students as they pass by. So major events, are Welcome to the Pack that we usually had, Club Rush, Oktoberfest, Spring Fling. Other opportunities may arise throughout the year. So you would just want to let me know if you're going to be placing, or if you want to place a table, and I can help with TMAs, submitting TMAs for tables for tabling. So for example, right now we're not having super big events in person, but that Club Rush, when we have that, that's obviously a great way to recruit. But say next week you wanted to table for your RSO and you have some candy or a sign-up sheet or handouts to give, you can really schedule any time on campus to table in the different buildings. So if you email me and said, hey, the anime club wants to table in the SCC next week on Tuesday from 10 to 2, is that okay? We would love to do that. And then, I'd put in a TMA, reserve the space. There you go, you're all set. So yeah, tabling never hurts. And then invite students to meetings or events via classroom, chalkboards, whiteboards, and online message boards with instructors' permission, of course. If you have a class, go in and write it on, the board in your classroom. Or if you're not faculty, but you know that your meetings are held in the same room every week, or if you're having a virtual one coming up, just asking professors to write it on the board. It doesn't hurt to ask. So an example would be writing, anime club meeting Tuesday at 3 p.m., CLA 210, free food or whatever it is. That's a great way to recruit students, in my opinion. Retaining, we're going to talk a little bit about retaining, and then we're just going to wrap it up. And if you guys have questions, we'll go through that too. 2 words: free food. Free anything really, but free food especially. I know before the pandemic that was super big. Right now we have some different requirements. So obviously everything has to be prepackaged, but that still gives us some options. So if you're going to be ordering any food or supplies with your budget, please remember to submit the RSO fund request form online. It's on the RSO-resources page under the Lone Star website. Every time you need supplies, that's the way you'll do it. If you know ahead of time different events, that's perfect. So for example, if the anime club were to come to me and they submit the RSO fund request form for a meeting, 2 weeks from now, and they say, I want, can you buy 10 prepackaged, ham and cheese sandwiches from like Walmart or whatever. I can buy the individual packaged ham and cheese sandwiches, have them ready for them. There you go. They can pick them up. Box lunches, grab and go snacks. Like today, for example, one of our clubs, the Mer Club, was going to meet on campus. Mer or Camerata, one of the two. And they just asked me to purchase water bottles, individual bags of little chips, and then fruit snacks, so that way they can have some snacks during their meeting. But something like that during this time is totally fine. Another thing, send a welcome email after meetings to newer prospective members. If you have someone who's an officer of communications or a secretary, or if you want the president to do that, if you have a sign-in sheet at all of your events and it says the student's email and name, make a short but informative email to those students. Personalize it with their first name, thank them for coming, and list upcoming events and meetings. So an example that I have is, hi Amy, thank you for attending the meeting on Tuesday for the anime club. Our next event will be an anime film night on Tuesday, October 5th at 6 o'clock in SCC 106. We hope to see you there and at future events. I'm personalizing it to Amy. I said, hi Amy, thanks. I thanked her for attending our meeting. And I'm letting her know, if you're still interested in coming to our events, we have this one coming up. So I feel like that personal touch does mean a lot. Find out why your members joined. You could do a new member application with all pertinent information on it, or include a portion on why you join. You could do an end of semester survey for all members on why they joined and any ideas they have. But I feel like that is super important to know why your students joined. Did they see it on a flyer? Did they see it in the emails? Because if they say they saw it in the happenings and you thought, oh, this is stupid to post it in the happenings, not stupid, but you know what I mean. This is a waste of time to post it in the happenings. We haven't had anybody for 2 weeks. Maybe I should just stop posting it in the happenings. And then someone comes to your meeting and you ask them and they said, oh, I saw it in the happenings. Then you're going to want to make sure you always post it in the happenings or via social media, or if they heard it from word of mouth. Like that helps you, and you will learn a lot more to know why they joined and how they heard about you. Take suggestions from new and established members. So one thing I like to say is, like, that concludes the planning portion of our meeting. Does anyone have any comments or suggestions for future events or how we can improve the meeting? So it's always great to take suggestions from new members too. Our established members are great. We love them. Our officers, they know a lot. That's why they're in those positions. But it doesn't mean that they have every single great idea ready to go. And I know sometimes egos can get in the way with students, especially because, you know, they're in charge and sometimes they don't like it when they're having to, you know, share that spotlight a little bit. But it really helps to take suggestions from everybody on that. All right, and this is, I think, the last little portion that we'll go over about retaining. So sending individualized messages to members who have not attended meetings in a while to check in. I mean, this is good in general, like to check in on your students and your members and people that you haven't seen in a while. But you know, an example of that is, you know, just to make sure that lapsed members know that you value them, that you value their contribution and value them attending the club. Um, you know, this gentle reach out sometimes is all you need. Like, hey, how are you? Then their reply, we missed you at the next meeting. If you want to come by Tuesday, we're planning our new anime film night. And then they reply, and you know, yes, I would love to attend. Thank you for checking in. And then you could just say, you know, we look forward to seeing you. But it's good because, you know, some students are really struggling and they don't know if they belong. They don't know if they're a part of, you know, they could come to the club, but they might not feel that they're a part of the club or like in in the group per se. So these check-ins are really great for students who may be doubting whether or not they should commit to the club too. So I did want to highlight that. Keeping records of event participation, email responses to know what works best. Super important. Like I said, with figuring out how they heard about you and why they joined. Also records of the events they participated in. So say you have the film night, and you have it on a Wednesday, 2 people attend. You have it on a Friday the next week, and 20 people attend. Now you know Fridays at this time work really well as opposed to Wednesdays, but you can compare it from event to event. So if you have an anime movie night, if you have a speaker and they don't get the same attendance, now you know, like, okay, maybe they're not as interested in the speakers. Maybe we should focus more on the movie nights, or something like that. And then conducting a survey at the end of every semester to find out what members would like RSO to do. I find this really helpful. And you know, I'm always asking for suggestions and feedback to the advisors on how we can improve as well. So it's great to do it in your club. So what are 3 things our RSO should continue doing? 3 things we should stop doing. Which benefits do you take the most advantage of? Why you join? You can do all of that on that end of semester survey. But I feel like assessing semester to semester is a great way to see what the students are interested in. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat, and I'll get to them right now. I do have my email up as well as my phone number and my office number, so that way you can contact me at any time. Thank you guys for attending. You know, if you have questions in the future though about marketing materials or how to make stuff in Canva or anything like that, I actually did a presentation on Canva for all of the campus. So if you need that information in the future, that's totally fine. I have that available too. I will send out this presentation to everybody, and also a short survey while we're talking about surveys, to see how you guys liked this presentation, and to do it more in the future. Thank you guys for coming. If nobody has any questions, I will stop the recording. Feel free to reach out at any time.